Bagua plays a very, very important role in my movement practice. It's sort of I describe it as a bit of a integrative art. So it means it works best when you have context for it. Well, that was kind of a little bit of a freestyle Bagua demonstration. Freestyle in that I wasn't following a strict routine, but I was going through very sort of precise and refined movements. Bagua is a really beautiful art. It's considered one of the three main orthodox internal martial arts of China. Now, internal martial arts is a bit of a, it's a loaded term. It's a term that is really best used within your training hall, when you have context for it. But it means that you're focusing on how the body is creating the movement from the inside out, and then looking on how you can influence that, cultivate that, improve that, and connect that to the external result you are looking for. So for example, if you're looking to improve your striking power, as you work your Bagua, you can begin to connect how you are moving through your movements with how you generate power for striking. And it gives you a whole nother way to connect to that. If you're looking for throwing, you can move through your movements as if you were looking for throwing dynamics. And the Bagua movements and methodology of training will support that. It was the basis for airbending. One of the reasons why was because Bagua in the Chinese martial arts landscape sort of represents this concept of change, evolution, possibility. You don't need much to be able to create this really powerful movement. Bagua is really based across very simple concepts like airbending, just moving your palms as you do stuff. Bagua is 8 trigram palm when you translate it, which is one of the few arts to be translated into palm and not fist. And Chinese is a very intentional language. And so there's a reason for that. And that's what led me to Bagua. I feel like I was in high school again, playing basketball at the park, putting a cut on somebody. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like. Because when I watched the first Bagua person do that, I just got out of college, I've been playing sports, and I saw the movement, and I was like, I want some of that, because I see the defender, I see the movement. It's not what he was doing, but I could just see the grace of the movement, and I wanted it. I wanted to be able to do that, because that feeling felt familiar, even though I didn't know how to do it. So if you've trained something else, Bagua creates a great alternative perspective on how to interact with that art. So if you've done praying mantis and you practice Bagua, your Bagua is going to help make your praying mantis better and vice versa, right? That's kind of what I mean by an integrative art. It's going to help everything lift up. Rising tide raises all ships kind of stuff. So for me, Bagua is sort of a filter through which almost all my skill sets run. Because if I can't feel it when I'm doing Bagua, how much real access do I have it? Because in Bagua, there's nothing there except me, my palms, and the circle, right? So I have to put all my techniques within it. And so, if my throwing technique, if I only feel it when there's a person there, right? Well, I'm not training for a particular person. I'm training so I feel my skill set close at hand, and then I have the confidence to use it. We start Bagua from day one for our students. In the Chinese arts, in my opinion, it's a really beautiful concept of learning sometimes, where they put these really important fundamental aspects of your practice that you'll be doing when you've been doing it for 20 years. When you think you're at an advanced level, right? You're still doing the same stuff you did on day one. And so from very early on, students begin learning basic Bagua concepts, how to feel their hands and the movement in their arms a little bit differently. Not everything is a punch, not everything is a kick, right? How do we create straights? How do we create curves? How do we change the palms above the body? How do we change the palms below the body into movements? And so it's just really natural athletic movements, And so it creates a lot of overlap. And as soon as you can start making overlap, start making connections between this art and that art, well, then you're on the way to making it your art, which is what all my teachers told me. It's it eventually needs to become your style. if you're really gonna buy into it and really gonna take ownership of it. If you want to learn more about Kung Fu and what we teach here at Sequoia Kung Fu, then subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for the next videos.